Highest mouth red songbird in New York City. I'm going to talk about, I took notes on the video, Mic'd Up the Pope and Homo Mafia. Special guest Milo Yiannopoulos. This book is diabolical. Milo was Chopin in a previous life, a composer. He's a member of the Holy Royal Family. He's Eve's son in a past life. This was at the Church Militant Channel. Okay, so let's begin. Milo doesn't believe little boys should be able to consent to having a physical relationship with men. What if we make homosexuals like, people trying to get away from feeling being the mentally disordered group thought, what if we make homosexuals like blacks, like women? Then they'll be the bigots instead of us being the disordered. So that was the thinking at the beginning of this propaganda campaign to make homosexuals the same as blacks, victims. Okay, these are just notes that I've taken, so let me start to read. A huge lie, says Milo, was born in the 80s, which was that homosexuals are born this way. Okay, then he says lesbians are different from male homosexuals. Women have a bad relationship. If women have a bad relationship, they turn to other women and to witchcraft. Journalistic societies are dominated by bossy women. Less than 500 people determine what 300 billion people are fed. When you take God out of a woman's life and she doesn't have a husband, she doesn't have children, she gets to be 35, bad things happen. The modern academy, college, modern entertainment industry, this is because of women who were lied to, who were told they could have careers, women who were turned off religion because of decades of ridicule. These women were left bereft. They were lied to, and they're angry and want to take it out on someone, on us. I think he means homosexual men. They'd rather think that they're lesbians rather than that they are alone, that they have nothing and no one. Women's sexuality is more malleable than men. There is more connection to the political. Instead of directing their anger to where it belongs, to their feminist parents, the second wave, 1960s and 70s, who told them they could do all these things and they'd be happy, they take it out on us. Bra burning in the 1960s said, Milo, I want to see women burning their briefcases and them marching in support of motherhood and family. Personal note. I am all in favor of motherhood, and family, but I haven't worn bra and panties in 5 years upon instructions of Jesus Christ Gorinda Singh, and I'm 1,000% more comfortable than when my breasts and vagina were bound and harnessed. Milo says, I've seen that I moved back to motherhood and family. I've been successful in life because I have an ability to see around corners. I can tell you what's going to happen. I'm becoming convinced that we're going to have a resurgence of religion, aspirational beauty standards, which are long overdue, and aspirational beauty standards, which are long overdue. Baby positivity movement is a mockery, taking something beautiful and pure, great good, and turning it into something grotesque and depraved. I never heard of that organization, but Milo knows about it, so I'm taking his word for it. The left doesn't ban people because they're conservative, because they're in the right. They go after people who are effective. Milo, whose presentation on college campuses were fun, were akin to stand-up comedy, was converting people. That's why they silenced him by saying he was for pedophilia. His fans start at age 12, he said. Their parents hate him. Instead of porn magazines, the boys buy his book and hide it under their mattresses. The children with feminist parents are hiding his books under their mattresses. They've seen how utterly miserable, a Satan trait, their parents' generation is, and how their bad choices have led to bad outcomes. Note, Satan is dying laughing, as Owen Benjamin, Eve's husband, Lenny Bruce, stand-up comedian, says. I didn't have much hope for Western civilization, said Milo, until the last 2 years. Michael, the host, says radical feminism, not authentic feminism as represented by Blessed Mother, destroyed some of the West's foundation. Milo says the Catholic Church is going down the same road as the Methodist Church, which is just basically women and gays. I don't think there's a heterosexual left in the Methodist Church, says Milo, if there are any men at all. It's like a bridge club, pew after pew after pew of women with a gay pastor or a woman pastor. That's really the path we're going down, meaning the Catholic Church. That's one of the serious subjects I talk about in the book Diabolical. When you create these seminaries where nobody say anything, of course you'll, no matter what you do, of course you'll attract child abusers and pedophiles. Worse people come in when you turn a blind eye to the first one. Note, Milo's so smart. He makes so much sense. He says he has studied these issues. I believe him. There's a chapter in his book, Diabolical, Make the Catholic Church Straight Again. The Catholic Church has lost what's good about men. They're quite good at telling you what's bad about men. The larger question, how do you restore respect for men and masculinity back into the church? You clear out some of these gay priests. How do you expect someone with such a dysfunctional relationship to their own manhood to be able to teach young boys? These are supposed to be father figures. How can you know how to be a father if you don't know how to be a man? There's a woman and man in homosexual relationships. That's a bombshell. The woman is the one that goes into priesthood. How can you expect anyone like that to appeal to young men? What has a Catholic priest in the past 50 years said that a college athlete could relate to? It's bizarre. It's where gay men are concentrated, yet they don't even talk about men looking good. Heroic manly virtues. We only succeed when men and women work in harmony, the powerful and the vulnerable. The Catholic Church is wandering particularly into the same mistakes all the Protestant churches have made. James Martin is the most mind-blowing, confusing person that I've ever seen, said Milo. I want to say, take off your frock. Come out and live your life, sweetheart. I can see why he stays in the priesthood. No one asks questions when he wears dresses. He can't be very happy, that idiot. There are some good gays. We're not all bad. Note, just doing a wee bit bad. There are actors agitating for that future. Corrective, small adjustment to overall body. Now, some of these sentences aren't complete because I took notes as fast as I could, but I missed some words, so I suggest you go to the website and listen to the entire interview. It's really astonishing. Milo is so accurate, so truthful, so courageous. He just says it like it is, no censor. Okay, so the Catholic Church is and always has been a left-wing institution, says Milo. I lay it at the door of the Pope World War II. The church has often been in bed with communists, like in Chicago in the 60s, where Obama was a Linsky community organizer. Something about a deal with China. They just gave power to China. You'll never hear the Catholic Church say anything good about a Republican politician, though you might hear him say something good about a Democratic Party one. Chapter 3 in the book talks about bits of infiltration with Social Democrats. The Bishops' Conference, since day one, abuse crisis, literally Marxist indoctrination. Catholic Church has funded Marxism indoctrination. You can find yourself contributing to Planned Parenthood. There's a symbiotic relationship between bishops and cardinals and far-left activists, and it's been going on for decades. The left that are trying to dilute church teachings are the same people who are covering up for child abusers. Michael the host says absolutely. So far, Michael has proven himself to be an excellent listener and has allowed Milo the opportunity to talk. Milo is believable. His words have the ring of truth to them. It's not a coincidence. It's the same loss of faith, he says. The more God you take out of the church, the more people you lose. You don't take out what people care for. The most important thing you can take away from the book Diabolical is that people who are abusing children and covering for people who are abusing children are the same people who are diluting church doctrine. Michael the host says he's got everything nailed down. I whistled past the graveyard. I knew my gay lifestyle was bad. I knew the Catholic Church was of divine revelations, yet I just lived on in the sinful experience. Me too, said Milo, but I found someone who makes me extremely happy and who has brought me closer to the church, who has opened my heart up to love. Note from me. People fall in love with their dogs, with their horses, sheep, goats, but they're not right. Love is supposed to be given consciously, not to just anyone or anything. Some people love Scotch whiskey or snorting dope or smoking dope. Some people love living, killing, tracking, loving. Some people love killing, tracking, hunting, fishing. The Bible says, thou shalt not kill. We have to pay for everything bad deed we do. We've been given a sense of right and wrong. It's called the conscience. So we can avoid suffering, death. The wages of sin is death. Don't sin, don't die. If you are perfectly good, you won't want to die. And if you want to live, if you have the faith, you can live forever, for eternity. It is given according to your faith. Milo said, the person that I am with now, I try to live as close to a normal life as possible. Milo's admitting that a man fucking another man's butt or mouth is abnormal. And then Milo says he lives a monogamous, loving, faith-filled relationship. That's what he has. I know I could never be happy with a woman at this stage of my life. Note, Milo's decision creates his reality. All of our decisions. and beliefs create our realities. Do I give up something that gives me power? Because I don't see the question here, but Michael asked him if he could live chaste. And he said he asked himself, do I give up something that gives me power, that gives me strength? He's saying his relationship to his lover gives him these things. That enables me to do good work. That's the same excuses I say carnivores make for killing and eating meat. If you don't obey the thou shalt not kill commandment or the cleave to a wife injunction, you are not living the doctrine of the Bible. You are diluting the divine teachings just like those in the church who are doing this. There's that word hypocrite to describe one who says, listen to me, tell you what to do, Catholic Church, though I break the laws of the Bible constantly. No is the conclusion I've come to, said Milo. In other words, he's saying to give up his relationship with the guy would make me less good. Being with someone who has a child, the guy I guess has a child, has helped him grow, he says. I put the helped him grow. He says specifically how it helped him grow. Again, listen to this video, because there's a lot that I didn't get down. And then Milo says, I know everything you say, but I'm just not there yet, and I don't know if I'll get there. I'm not the first Catholic who lives this way. I'm not the only one, excuses John Lennon. This is what I'm saying. Imagine there's no heaven, no hell below us, above us only sky. Note, so he doesn't have to accept the fact that he sins, meaning he will die and go to hell. So he's saying there is no hell, see, because he doesn't want to go there. But he doesn't want to live righteously and go to heaven either. So he said there's nothing there. So meaning he will die and go to hell, to the animal or lower kingdoms of unspeakable miseries for eternity, because the day of reckoning is here. Judgment Day has been occurring these past 2 to 3 years. People have been given every opportunity imaginable to live according to the dictates of their consciences. Those who brush aside their consciences' information are embracing torturous hells for eternity. People will pay for their recklessness for not heeding their consciences by sinking down below the human race to take birth in subhuman forms. The unspeaking animals you see are those souls who didn't yet make it to the human form, or when human, they threw away their humanity, being stubborn and willful, refusing to live righteously. That, says Milo, is something I'll have to continue to wrestle with. Michael to Milo, I've been where you are. Are you capable of living chastely? Milo says no. Personal note. Despite the many men who hit on me since my husband and I separated, I've told them all I don't sex with anyone who is not my husband. I have had spiritual, physical sex with some of my husbands, some of my holy royal family members from time to time, mostly prompted. Now you understand that's spiritual. I didn't sleep with any physical men. Mostly prompted by my Father, the Son, and my brother, husband, Jesus Christ, Gorinda Singh, as unlike a man, I do not excrete or let loose sperm when I come. Urine comes down, so I'm not wasting precious life-creating fluid, as for example when men masturbate. Milo says in effect that he knows himself. If he lets go of his present relationship with a man, he'd become promiscuous. Okay. I decoded promiscuous. Omission, I sex, CU, order, mild red, us. I sex, you ordered mild red, us, teens, prom, omitted. Okay, so she omitted the prom, which I omitted the eye-sex, which is intimate exchange of pleasure of the attending junior and senior prom, because I did not value my school and its events. I quit school. I ran away from home in my junior year. Okay. Year. I heard my mother as a young kid say my school was a shit school, a of no value school of no value. My mother did not disparage my sister, her efforts, her body, her environment. She built my sister up till she was one of the stars of Burt High School of Clarksville, Tennessee. My mother said to us one day when we were children, "Do you want to be a big fish in a little pond or a little fish in a big pond?" My sister said she wanted to be a big fish in a little pond, and that is what she is. I said I want to be a big fish in a big pond. I'm the daughter of the highest authority of the sun. I am currently the mother of the earth. I am the baby's mama of the Son and his Son, Jesus Christ, Govinda Singh. I am appointed Empress of the universe. I was chosen, recognized as the best mother in the world. I am clearly a big fish, an empress, metaphorically speaking, in a big pond, the universe. Thanks to my mother not letting me settle for a career as a beauty queen, a scholar, a dancer, a singer, a poet. I am a womb in my body who went to the beginning of the earth to understand my realm, what aids I would develop to aid my children. Talk and share therapy is the answer. Interested, Milo? Or do you prefer hell for eternity? I was Freud, the father of psychoanalysis. When I went to see Jesus Christ in his 20th century form in 1979, he told me that he was one, and his name was Maraji King Charan Singh. He told me that he was my mirror and that he is a psychologist. Therefore, I am a psychologist. I didn't know at the time that I had been Freud. Shortly before traveling to India, I began studying a book, Gestalt Therapy by Fritz Perls. I have since uncovered Miles Red, my identity, as Fritz Perls. I have used my skills communicating with a Vietnam vet with severe post-traumatic stress disorder, with a psychiatric nurse who grew during therapy with me and got married and had a child. But my biggest triumph was curing Galileo of his madness, ever since the Catholic Church had bullied him into lying and saying that he had lied when he disputed the Church's teachings. They'd been teaching that the sun revolves around the earth. Galileo and astronomy discovered that the earth and the other planets revolve around the sun. The all-powerful Catholic Church put Galileo under arrest, under house arrest, where he lingered. Okay, I have to show you this. Where he lingered. Miles Red is lingering, suffering, slings and arrows of outrageous fortunes. But she has worked for 39 years, meditating on the Lord and practicing talk and share therapy. Both these disciplines have allowed her to know herself, and she has chosen to be herself, this life and past lives. And Galileo, who helped engineer his own freedom in a previous life when he was Freud's Miles Red's babysitter, her Andoni. Andoni instilled in Miles Red, Freud, the wisdom, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." Miles Red did not fully understand why it was critical for her to know this statement, but she trusted her Andoni to the extent that she took the words into her belief system. And now Andoni Galileo has been led to know the truth of her states of mind, her emotions and feelings for lifetimes by her niece Freud, Mild Red, who is now her mother, practicing talk and share therapy with Andoni Galileo, Robin Birdsong, for 26 years. Robin Birdsong, her mother, she knows the truth now, and she is free of repressed anger and madness and deep hurt. Do you understand what I said? Galileo has been cured. She is free to love, and trust. You have to say this. To love, to trust. Trust. True U.S. saint. True U.S. saint. That's what trust turned out to be. Okay. Mike Murdoch, St. Paul said, your life begins when you start to trust someone. Trust someone. So Galileo's life has begun in earnest because she trusts her mother, Freud. Again, she has regained her ability to be alive, a human being in the present, no longer tied to the past, tied to the horrific injustice she endured as Galileo. Mild Red endured injustice as Marilyn Monroe. Mild Red endured Mild Red. She entered in dead herself to blame for taking so many sleeping pills she couldn't come back awake. A killed energy. A killed energy. Washington, WA for Washington. Arkansas, AK for Arkansas. Kansas, Ark, Iraq, a rank answer. As a whore, Mild Red eliminated. White House, no, it says not Mild Red eliminated, it says White House ordered Mild Red eliminated. Mild Red was Marilyn Monroe. So this is revealing that the White House ordered Marilyn Monroe eliminated. She did not take the sleeping pills she thought. She did not kill herself. The White House killed her. JFK was charmed by Marilyn's purring like a kitten. Happy birthday, Mr. President, to him. Any man in America would have been flattered to be sung to by the American sex goddess. Robert Kennedy, a Scorpio, was so jealous he put out a hit on Marilyn Monroe and had her suicided, which means murder made to look like a suicide. Mild Red had presumed she killed herself when she had been Marilyn Monroe, presumed she had been rejected by JFK for giving clues that they had a sexual relationship in full view of his wife. This sweet eye sex with Marilyn Monroe, he felt energized. Jackie Kennedy was a status-seeking, a social climber who sold herself to the highest bidder after JFK was killed by LBJ. Now, social climber. See Will Isaacs on Member. Mild Red, Michelle Birdsong entered. Mild Red's social climber was Edwin Birdsong. So you see what they said? Edwin Birdsong was a social climber who entered Mild Red's life. You see, we got two stories here. We got Mild Red and we got Marilyn Monroe as Mild Red. All right. So Edwin, so the closer to white you looked, she was very light and had good hair like white people. He knew he would be accepted in all high society levels of black community if Miles Red was on his arm. So he chased her, put her likeness along with him on his friend Roy Ayers' album cover, Stone Soul Picnic. And he wrote a song about her. I love you, Michelle, yeah, baby. Even though Sir Paul McCartney, Jesus Christ Projection, Gurinder Singh, a vegetarian, and his wife was a vegetarian. He's a vegan. Wrote a song, Michelle My Belle, from Beauty and the Beast. Edwin's song, I Love You, Michelle, yeah, baby. You can hear it free at Michelle Birdsong YouTube channel. Okay, I got a little more up here. Jack Ruby told us this reaches about JFK's assassination. This reaches to the highest levels of government. This, he said, would never have happened if Adlai Stevenson had been president, saying in effect that it happened because of the vice president, LBJ. Okay? It's Miles Red Songbird. Talk to you again when I have more information. But LBJ killed JFK. This is what Jack Ruby indicated.